Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to Arrow Synthesis Part 3. This is episode 12 of Alabama Woodsman. And so in the previous two videos of arrow synthesis, I showed how to harvest Chinese Privet shoots and also how to cut them to length or find a uniform length. And one thing that I didn't mention in the previous video that I should have is what's called a control arrow. Is a term I've given to this. This is a pin cherry arrow that what I did is I cut down a pin cherry tree and took a table saw to it and used it like you would a lumber mill, and made rectangles that were about a little bit wider than this, and they had, course right edges too from being on a saw, so I had to carve it down. But I measured it out to be exactly 3 feet when I made it, and you can see the fletchings are a little longer than on the newer arrows that I'm making, but the newer arrows I'm making are much better than these old ones. But so here's the dead branch that we harvested in episode 10, and the one that I was showing how to cut to length in episode 11. So when I lay them together after I've cut them, this is a smidge longer, not much, but as you can see, I've already started carving the edge of this down. So as you can see here, that they're pretty much now a uniform width. This end on the pin cherry is a little too thick, but they're about the same till you get to here, and that's as far as I've whittled. But as you keep going down the shaft, you will find that there will be kinks and bends, like in this guy. I don't know if you can see that or not, but he's got some pretty crazy bends, and that'll be a challenging one for fire bending, but hopefully we'll be able to get that done. So here are some of the ones that I also harvested today. I haven't gotten to work on yet, other than cutting them to length. And so I just want to show you real quick, how easily the bark can come off. So I have here, I have a bin here to catch all the wood shavings. You can see there's a lot in there. It's quite a layer. But each arrow that I do, it starts at about that length, will produce enough to fill your 2 hands as far as these little shavings go. And these are great fire starting material, because they make these really thin curls when they come off the shaft, and they have a large surface area, which is what you want for kindling, and they have a high surface area to volume ratio, and so this will make great fire starter. But as you go along here, this fresh bark, you don't want to burn it. But as you can see, I'm taking my whittling knife. This is like literally razor sharp, and I curl it. I'm left-handed, sorry, but I curl it around in my fingers and keep it to like where the base of your fingers go, and then I curl it all the way down into my hand, and I place my thumb on the back of the blade. And this since it's so thin, it needs a little stability, and that's what this gives it. And so you're just able to slice off sections of this bark, and it comes out pretty easily. So I'm getting a couple-inch strips of bark every time. So debarking live shafts that haven't dried out yet is the easiest, and it took a lot longer on the dead branch because this bark was clinging to the heartwood, which is on the inside. Now on almost every tree there is the outer bark, which is this stuff, and then we'll have the inner bark, which is, see if I can expose some here, which is this greenish stuff right here. That's the inner bark. And you want to get both layers off, but it's okay if you leave the inner bark on, well, as long as you get the outer rougher bark off, because as you whittle down, you will get the inner bark out of there. As you can see, that hasn't taken long at all. I've gotten a good 6-inch section done. So now to cut it to length, or cut it to width, sorry, or whittle to width. So first up comparison says that these are actually pretty close. They're not that bad. But what I'm going to do is take this and just going to start slicing it the same way. And again, whenever you have this fresh stuff, this wood comes off a lot easier on this plant. If you ever get like a little lip or edge, you take your knife and you just carefully cut down until it's smoothed out, until it's not there anymore, and then you can keep whittling. So as we go along, that's pretty bad, but this process is pretty quick once you get into a groove. Chips will start flying, and you have to be careful not to gouge too much, because sometimes your blade can catch and take a big gouge out of the shaft. There's something you got to watch for. So right now I'm taking very shallow, just like really thin slices out, which is keeping it from gouging, which is helped by the high speed. And as you can see, there's lots of stuff flying off. So literally in a matter of a couple seconds, there's a little bit of gouging here, but that's not too bad for the speed. So bring it back up, and now that's about the same width. And that took, that was a good 3-inch section. That took hardly any time. So, 3 inches took me, let's say, a minute. Probably take about 12 minutes per shaft, till 15, if you do it right. And when you do it right, you'll get this pattern formed of, you can see the whittle marks. And I always thought that looked cool. But just keep up the good work, guys. And it's been a long day. This is the 4th video from the same day. So this should definitely be a lot of fun, and pick up tomorrow morning. Alright, thank you.